I'm talking about the Xfinity Series here at Phoenix in this one here. As I approach this event, there's a few things that I want to focus on really fast. The fact that Colleague is getting better, the fact that they really did fix the aero issue, the aero push that they have had for several years now at Las Vegas, is encouraging to see. But Brandon, Las Vegas and Phoenix have nothing, they don't have anything in common. However, fundamental issues that you have with your cars, which is being tight in traffic, which is not wanting to rotate in traffic. I mean, that's the same thing as being tight. But look, the fact that they made substantial improvements there at Las Vegas this last weekend is good to see. Kyle Busch 13.5. Honestly, if he goes out there, and look, in terms of who I like up here, it really does depend on who qualifies, what I see in practice. Such as how I hate to be that way, but like, look, when you look across the entire field, like Nemechek, for example, 5th, 6th, 4th, 9th, 9th, and his races here, Allgaier 3rd, 10th, 9th, 9th, 8th, or 9th, 8th, 5th, 13th, 1st. Barry 13th, 3rd, 36. Cole Custer, his last one's here, 2nd, 4th, 8th, 8th. You know, like there's not one big hedge in my opinion. I think it's Junior Motorsports, certainly over Joe Gibbs. I don't think Nemechek is going to have what it takes to win this race outright versus 4 Junior Motorsports teammates, despite the fact that's literally what Ty Gibbs did to win the championship at the end of last year. But I don't believe that that's just going to happen. I think Junior Motorsports or Kyle Busch wins this race. That's just kind of where I'm at there. But yeah, Kyle Busch, the fact that Colleague is fixing just the aero issues and stuff. Look, if he shows up, if he starts first, certainly if he starts first and he shows speed in practice, I have no issue playing Kyle Busch. As I said in the Cup Series video, Phoenix is a place that you cannot fake speed at. You just can't. It's not like you're slow in practice and then all of a sudden you're flying fast. You know, or you run fast, certainly multiple laps, like deep in, like you're 7-8 laps into a run at Phoenix in practice and you're looking fast. That's not going to fall off in the race. The Phoenix, you don't, short tracks, I mean, you can argue intermediates, certain intermediates, but like short tracks and 2 miles, although we don't have Auto Club anymore, like Pocono, Michigan, Richmond, Phoenix, you cannot fake speed at. You absolutely cannot fake speed at these racetracks. So I like leaning on the practice data here, specifically because I think everybody up front is pretty even in terms of Junior Motorsports, in terms of Cole Custer, in terms of Kyle Busch. And if Nemechek shows us some wild shit, then of course we're going to play him there. But I have no real lean outside of that. In the 9K range, Brandon Jones, when we look at how Brandon Jones has performed at this racetrack, the fact that he's been able to compete with Kyle Busch in previous years, the fact that he has been able to been stupid consistent, 11 second, 7th, 33rd, 3rd, 1st, 11th, 7th, 7th, 11th, $9,600. Brandon Jones might actually be probably my favorite play here just early in the week, or on a Thursday, rather. When you look at how he ran last weekend, and I understand Las Vegas and Phoenix are not the same, but look at the speed that Junior Motorsports has. Look at the speed that Jones had. Jones had more speed in that car last week than he ever really truly had with Joe Gibbs, okay? Look, Jones could have won that race if he gets a yellow at the right point. He would have finished 5th if he didn't have speeding issues during his pit stop and caused him to finish outside the top 20, okay? Or he finished 13th, rather. Actually, he was the 13th best car at Las Vegas, so that's because he was deep in traffic. Look, Brandon Jones is here to compete, in my opinion. $9,600, I would honestly prefer him over Sam Mayer, and I would prefer him over, stacking Allgaier and Barry together. Like, in my opinion, I kind of like going Kyle Busch, Brandon Jones right now, kind of goofing around with lines, Allgaier, Brandon Jones. Like, I think Jones is going to be an absolute staple, in my opinion, here. Austin Hill, yet again, the Austin Hill Creed, Chandler Smith, or, the range here is very much dependent on, me just trying to get to people. I hate to say that, but that's really what lent us to going to Austin Hill this past weekend and Sammy Smith this last weekend. Sammy Smith performing fantastic, nearly kills a crew on pit lane and falls through the field. But, Austin Hill, if he can show us top 7 speeds all day, I would not be shocked to see him finish 4th and scrape off, like 8 fast laps throughout the entire race. And him at 9,100, what is that, 46, 47 points to pay off? I think he can do that depending on what happens, depending on where he's at. And I think that argument can easily be made between Chandler Smith, Creed, and Sammy Smith. I really like Riley Herbst He's probably the secondary guy that has really just popped off to me looking at this weekend. That's Brandon Jones. That's Riley Herbst. 7th DNF last weekend in the spring, but 4th, 11th, 10th, 30th. He's been wildly consistent. Showed more speed than Custer last weekend, and I understand that I'm bringing up Las Vegas a lot, but that race really should have been a race where both Stewart-Haas cars performed decent. It really should have been a race to where, like an organization as a whole should perform well. Gene Motorsports, Joe Gibbs. The fact that Stewart-Haas just kind of whiffed on Cole Custer in traffic, that was kind of odd. If they're going to be bringing the same, I mean, in my opinion, Cole Custer and Riley Herbst are identical plays, very similar to Ross Chastain and Daniel Suarez for the Cup Series. I would just rather keep playing I'd rather just keep playing Herbst at 8,200 for a guy that I think is going to run top 5 and probably top 8 speeds all day, and can very easily get the lead on pit lane, can very easily run to a situation where, yet again, scrapes off 10 fast laps throughout the race. I would not be shocked by that at all. Just due to the fact that I'm probably paying up for people, I doubt I'm going to be in the 8K range outside of Herbst a lot. Once we get to like the 7K ranges, I don't know, man. Look, Kligerman, Sanchez was in this race last year, did decent. $700 for probably the best funded car here. I don't mind Kligerman. Moffitt, again, if he's going to show his speed. With Moffitt, you got to remember that he ran our motorsports cars during a lot of the finishes that he got top 10 finishes in. Like, the fact that he is 8th and 9th in pretty, hindsight being 2020, pretty poor equipment. Brett Moffitt, Kligerman, the only two guys in the 7K range that I want to play. And Moffitt, you got to respect the speed that this car has. Oh my lord, dude, this thing is flying fast. The fact that you have a technical alliance with Stewart-Haas Racing, the fact that I can get Riley Herbst and Brett Moffitt in a line, are you kidding me? I love Moffitt, and I think you should play him more and more entering, yet again, Cup Series. I think you should be you should be ahead of the curve on Truex and Hamlin. I think you should be ahead of the curve on Brett Moffitt, especially if the pricing is not going to increase. I see Brett Moffitt being playable in literally every single track type going forward. I love Brett Moffitt here, and I will probably end up using Brett Moffitt quite a lot in my lines just because he's 7,300, easy to get to, even if you're paying up for people. And the fact that we have a lot of the people in the value range, that makes it very easy to stay in the 7K range. I like it a lot. Not going to go to Anthony Alfredo, not going to go to Joe Graf Jr., not going to be going to Jeb Burton. Kyle Weatherman, first guy at $6,600 is that I like. Parker Retzlaff. He performed well with the RSS cars last year at these short tracks. I think he's honestly probably a better road course racer than a lot of us give him credit for. $6,200. I want to see him just show some somewhat speed in practice. The fact that he finished 21st in the fall race here last year is great to see with the truly lack of experience that he has. So at this point, as we go through the 7K range and stuff, or as we get to the lower 7K range, 6K range, it's Moffitt, Weatherman, Parker Retzlaff. Those are the guys I want to focus on. I'm probably not going to go to Kyle Sieg, probably not going to go to Jeffrey Earnhardt. Josh Williams this last year, which is why I played him so much. The fact that he had poor equipment when he finished 35th and 32nd in the spring race last year, in the fall race last year. This is one of Josh Williams' more consistent racetracks. He was optimal in the fall. He's probably not going to qualify well at all. I like Josh Williams here. I'm hoping that he qualifies like 28th to 25th to kind of keep people down on him. But Josh Williams, I'm telling you, this is one of Josh Williams' best tracks. And I like Josh Williams, man. $5,800 I think is probably the best 5K range or 5K play over $5,800 or over 50. I'm talking too much. I think he's probably the best 5K play in general, to be honest with you. Because I don't want to play Ellis unless they show us some speed. I'm not playing Poole. I'm not playing Bailey Curry. I'd rather play Greg Galding over Blaine Perkins, but at this point we're in the 4K range, and I love Josh Williams. One of his better tracks. I always play him here. Just how it is. I think you should too. I think he should be maybe not a priority, but I think you need to have some Josh Williams. Regardless of where he starts, he has top 20 upside at this racetrack. He likes this racetrack. Josh Williams is more consistent at short tracks. That's just where his wheelhouse is. And down here for 5K driver, I like that. Dawson Cramer not playing the Mike Harmon car. Is Ryan Vargas okay? Has he hung himself in an attic yet? I mean, it's been a brutal season for him, not even making a race so far. Smithley, if he starts far enough back, I'm perfectly fine with it. He had steering issues this last weekend, but look, Smithley at $4,800. The fact that we have Honeyman for Tommy Joe Martins at $4,600, I like both those drivers. The Honeyman play is very similar to the Haley Deegan last year at Las Vegas. I don't know if people are going to be on him. I know I'm going to be on Honeyman. I think that car is just far too good for $4,600. Hopefully it just fucking qualify 17th and make it null and void. But Honeyman, Smithley, Greg Alding, Josh Williams, those should be your main contenders there. You know, depending on what Weber brings with Carl Long, I just want to see the car. I'm fine with playing Brian Weber too, to be honest with you. I'm not too worried about it. If the car looks fine, there's going to be worse plays here. Like, man, I don't know. I like the value range, man. Weber, Honeyman, Smithley, you know, all these guys are very, very easy to use. It's very easy to play Kyle Busch this weekend, and it kind of goes back to why I like, just kind of why I don't mind Kyle Busch this week if he's fast, and certainly if it's not Kyle Busch, you can very easily fit in multiple 10K guys with these value plays. Like, for example, a play that I'll probably end up doing, I'm not sure how many lines I'm going to do, maybe 10 this week at Phoenix, just in case I whiff again or so. I don't know. I've always struggled with short tracks for whatever reason in DFS. I know some people have phenomenal times at them. For whatever reason, they're very, very up and down. I like intermediates, but man, short tracks, I just seem to fucking miss on them sometimes. So I hope I don't do that. But look, for example here, like, let's just use, for example, use Kyle Busch, Honeyman, Williams. That leaves you $8,700 to play whoever the hell you want. You match him with, let me get Moffitt on here just to see, you know, Kyle Busch, Honeyman, Moffitt, Williams, $9,400. Like, you could very easily get two multiple expensive drivers this weekend with the value range with just a lot of mispriced people, in my opinion. So that's where I'm at there. You know, as I said, you cannot fake speed it here at Phoenix. Hopefully we get a majority of the backmarkers to at least run 5 to 6 laps so we can truly see where they're at. But man, trust practice speeds back here. That's how I look at it. And I will see you guys in live shows on Sunday and on Saturday for both series respectively. So I'll see you guys then. Best of luck.